Unfortunately, there are no free wins in the actual tournament, and as a result, we will have to watch Caleb and Brulock duke it out right now in their top 8 match.
And it seems like we're having our little conversation here, maybe deciding if we're keeping, if we're mulliganing. There's a thumbs up. Love to see that. And
it appears that Brulock did mulligan, actually.
Yeah, okay. And we see a water spirit, at least. I don't know what that second one was on their end.
Caleb setting one and passing into Brulock's Spectress.
Ooh, which is also a set one and swing, which Caleb is just going to take that damage.
2 good arts for Spectress. This one and the Zim art.
Oh yeah, the like comic book style. Both are very good. Yeah. Those are my 2 of preference. I kind of like the one where he's just standing there.
Menacingly! Oh my gosh, yep. Speaking of. Okay. Here come the lads. Caleb going down to an early 15.
Ooh. Was that an expend to draw that last turn, I'm assuming?
It was, which
may
give you a little bit of heads up about what's going on here.
And an Equilynx.
Equilynx, let's go.
Woo-hoo.
Wait a minute, is this set 1? Equilynx the meter?
Oh my gosh, and it's that full art Demeter. And loading up, it looks like 2 spirits.
Been a while since we've seen that animation.
I know.
You can see the background, it's a tsunami. That beautiful full art tsunami is going to come for the Equilynx as well as the Specteruses here. And Caleb's just going to set an additional one and say, you know, if you have a Hurricane, I guess I do just lose on the spot.
Which is totally fair.
No reason to play around. It's the third one.
Why not? Go
ahead. There it is.
Oh my god, the immediate punish. Oh no, Caleb. We didn't
sometimes
even really
you got to make them have it. The downside to that is sometimes they have it.
Yeah, we didn't get to see what all those were. It looked like one of them was maybe a PTA, but it happened so fast.
What is that?
Is that a... It's hard to see. Sure, but we're going to be taking 3 spirits of damage.
Oh, that's a Comalis.
Oh, is it?
Oh my god, it really is set 1.
Okay, and we have Lavalith coming out.
All right, so we're going to go Lavalith, pump off the Demeter so it can actually clear one of these critters. Going for the Comalis here. Going to take 1 and then spend 2 additional on this copy of Poison Tipped Arrow, and we are just slugging back and forth. Caleb, I believe, down to 7 or 8 off that play, and Brulock, despite being in control of this game, also down to 10. You know, those Hurricanes don't come cheap.
Yeah, maybe that was Caleb's plan all along, was setting all those back row. It's like, all right, I got to make you do expensive stuff every single turn.
You'll notice Brulock is not expending to draw on this board state for a reason that I think is about to become immediately apparent.
And here we see something. There we go.
Check it out, baby.
Elechick grabbing, I imagine, another Demeter. Maybe a Zeus could be in here. Who's to say?
God, Caleb is playing incredibly fast, I will be honest. We're going to Ambro first, as there is a pretty good chance against a Lunar deck I could just be killed in 1 hit, so let's do our best to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, and I have to say, despite being almost the end of this game, we really haven't seen much from either of these characters. I don't think we can definitively say what either of them are playing with any kind of certainty.
Beautiful full art shield. Goes down to 5 on Brulock's side. I believe 5 on Caleb's as well. This will put him to 3. Thankfully, we know there's no full moon, so that won't stop him. Brulock says, I'll go down even further. I'll go to 4. Okay, back up to 6.
Yeah, okay. We have the Ambrosia here. And Thunder Lunar Water being brought back. Okay.
Left the Thunder on the field because it's time for Aggro Rabbits.
This still tells us absolutely nothing about
it could be literally anything at this point.
Obviously, Brulock has more of this developed board, this wide board going on, but we're still pretty even in spirits for now, unless this is exactly a tsunami. Caleb is going to be,
he's taking it all.
Taking these 3 spirits of damage, putting them down to 2 left. Okay.
Going for a rabbit of his own.
Yeah, all right.
Now, this rabbit's scary because it actually is impossible to get over at the present moment.
Well, we might be doing something here then. Maybe we can extend this game a little bit because
one
this is
spirit left. That's all you need, baby.
Uh-huh. And that
rock
is a rock.
And a hard plays coming down from Brulock. Putting him to 3 says, all right, I don't need the back row. What are you going to do?
That's been Caleb's attitude this entire game, as we saw with the...
Oh, that's what you're going to do.
Oh,
and a quick scoop.
Yeah, there we go.
That was the fastest game I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was amazing. I don't even think that my hands move that fast. I'm really not sure what that starting hand last game would have looked like. Just based on the sequence of events that came afterwards, but we shall see. Caleb setting one and passing. Okay, back over to Brulock. That's what we saw
last time.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is very similar.
That's what we saw last time.
Oh, okay. This is all looking very familiar. That set card is either not a PTA or Corgans, or Caleb doesn't care. It's kind of hard to tell based on gameplay so far which it would be.
And we're doing it again. Expend a draw.
Okay, and that looked like a water spirit. Interesting. Okay. And I think we just passed. And Brulock sends out, is that a Toxiri?
I'm so excited we get to see this part of the deck. So
okay.
He's playing like a suppression adjacent deck. We've seen Theraheart and Posthumous over the course of today. That stuff is in Brulock's deck. But in the board, he has the ability to transform it into this strategy, which uses Toxiri and Dense Fog to set up really powerful Necrolith plays. So I'm hoping we get to see that happen. Who knows? It'll depend on if Caleb is able to play the game at all.
So far, that has been a no. But I know you've been excited to see this kind of list all day. But here we go. A Sluggle. So we're going to be getting some healing. We're doing something here. Finally.
Cat's out of the bag. Caleb is on heal stall. With undefeated with healed stall in Swiss. 7 rounds of heal stall.
Until the incident, as in last game.
So the rough part about losing that first game as the heal stall player is that out of the board, there is this card that just ruins your entire life called Spoiled Fruit that Brulock is playing. So you're kind of expected to pick up game 1 and then hope you jam through a game where they do not see that card.
We see a set from Brulock and passing over to Caleb. Oh!
Ascending into a Boom Bat here. Really sexy old classic play. Going for the Boom Bat effect here, targeting the Toxiri. Gonna set one and threaten each of those rabbits. It says, if you don't attack the rabbit every single turn, I will pop one of them. Boom Bat, one of those cards that you don't see much of anymore, but really has the strength to take over a game.
I do love Boom Bat, but I also really love Hurricane, which Brulock has now used.
It's such a heads-up Hurricane, too. Did it in such a way that they took a huge tempo loss just because what they want to do is get to a position where they can just, like, establish control of the field into opposing Sluggles. Like, willing to take a huge minus on spirit count because they know they're never really going to be threatened in any sort of way that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Resting here. Going to get the rabbit out of the way.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we still have the Spectaris here to deal with. Which, you know, if we just see this parade of Sluggles. However, it seems it is another Boom Bat, which is immediately going to leave. But so is the Spectaris. So Caleb is going to
this is exactly where Caleb wants to be. 17 spirits to Brulock's 12. Just sitting here like, yeah, I'll just cast a Quackle every turn. You got it.
What they had going into the next turn, but then we see another Toxiri coming out, which immediately is hit with a poison-tipped arrow. But that doesn't mean that we can't go and find that Dense Fog.
One in hand after hurricaning our own one previously, but it's important to understand that card does not do anything. Like, against Caleb's deck, it's not that big of a deal. And Caleb's allowed to just take this tempo loss in terms of, like, expending to draw, using PTA to threaten critters, because he's going to gain all of the health back anyway.
That's true. With Heal Stall, you're able to play a little bit more chill, a little bit more relaxed, assuming that you actually see the things that you need better this time, which I love to see. And Brulock going to be setting an additional one and passing back over to Caleb. We see a lot of setting and passing, and
There's
here we go. Yep, Quackle.
Ooh, Gorgon's Gaze. This is the secret trick of Heal Stall, though, is you think, oh, I'm going to Gorgon's Gaze their healers, and that'll like resolve the issue. No, it doesn't. It just means instead of them healing 3, you're taking 2. Which is almost the same spirit differential. You've just saved yourself 1 health. Now the Quackle's a threat. You have to deploy something here, an Eddy. And any back row rune that Caleb has is going to make quick work of the Eddy and put you in a position where it's really hard to get rid of the guys on field.
Yeah, which considering Caleb did a little bit of a look-see at both of those back row, I don't know if they're thinking about it. Opted not to activate Eddy's effect to move to defense, and a Gorgon's Gaze coming out, stopping that Eddy, keeping Quackle alive for one more turn here.
Ugh. Yeah, Caleb basically trying to stave off Brulock's ability to take over the game. Provided that Caleb can keep it to 1-to-1 interactions, he cannot possibly lose. Great Cryo Blast.
Oh, yes.
But because we're spending every turn to expend, because we're ahead on the Spirit game, we're allowed to just 2-for-1 ourselves on cards like that. Here, just taking the opportunity to draw another card after spending 2 cards to kill an Eddy. Caleb's going to go ahead and set another one, try and get in for 1, put Brulock at 6. And Brulock has to turn the corner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we already saw 2 Toxiri. I don't know how many big guys are going to be playing. Yep, so Eddy comes out, again, not going to opt to move this Sluggle into defense. A bad time for Eddy, unless, of course, we see the rock in a hard place.
Yeah, okay, says that's fine. Kind of a weird, interesting interaction here. So rock and hard place can't be responded to, because otherwise you could just chain the back row rune that's being targeted. So as a result, Caleb has to do something on an open game state. Here targeting, I believe, the Quackle and the guy immediately behind it. And unfortunately, that Eddy can trigger if Brulock is playing a copy of Kuribis. Feels a little more secure in firing that rock in a hard place after you've seen the first Cryo Blast. Because, of course, while Kuribis is an exceptionally powerful card, it is very weak to that card in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Brulock just doing a little bit of math here. Ooh, is that a Kuribis from hand, dog? Oh, we're just not triggering the Eddy. Okay, great.
Okay.
Go for the Ambro here. Put 3 of these bad boys back.
Lunar. All right. Very interesting. And like you said, notably, no Kuribis Ascension.
All right.
And just going to swing for 1 and go back
Caleb
over
down
to
to
Caleb.
7, shuffling like a 6-card hand here.
Oh.
Eddy into Eddy. I do have to call out Caleb here. That's the wrong Eddy.
You're right. We're looking at the right Eddy on the other side of the field. And we see Water, Thunder, Water, which that makes sense given that we've seen Sluggle, we've seen Quackle, the usual players. And Brulock
right,
simply...
Eddy into Eddy.
Yeah.
Again, as long as we are in this silly 1-for-1 style of game, there is no way that Caleb can lose it. Spending an Earthquake on an Eddy? Oh my god. If you're Caleb, you are very happy with that trade.
Feels like it's something you should do, but ultimately, as the heal player, you're putting your opponent down on spirits. You're getting an advantage either way.
Sluggle off the top.
There's
another 3 back. We're going down to 7, then up to 10. It's this position that the heal stall deck gets into that feels just unwinnable. You can't shield this. And if you're Brulock, you have to be thinking to yourself, did I mess up? Like, was it wrong to board into Toxiri at all? Should I have been boarding completely differently? It's possible that Brulock had the complete wrong read on what Caleb was playing, given the fact that we saw nothing out of game 1.
Yeah, it was a complete mystery. And
just going to scoop it up, says, you know what? Let's just go game 3. I'm not doing this for another 20 minutes.
Right, because Brulock is never going to win the spirit game. He's never going to heal more.
It's not going to be, I'm at 1, you're at 2. It's going to be, I'm at 3, you're at 12, but you can't beat, like, 2 2-drops, for instance.
Exactly, yeah. So we shall see how this plays out.
Set one, pass, expend a draw, turn one.
Yeah, and Caleb, it seems like, is also going to be expending to draw, which is consistent, and setting one. Yeah, we've been here before.
He's very happy to do that. All right, did we find a wabbit?
Let's see.
Oh no, we're expending to draw again.
Okay.
Brulock says, I'm in no rush. Go for it.
And then Caleb also
is also expending to draw. Elestrals!
Oh man, eventually we may play some cards, but until then, I mean, if your opponent's still expending, it's
and like, I'm expending to draw too!
Oh my god. Setting one though. There we go.
Not to toot Caleb's horn, but that's why I love Heel Stall in this meta. This Lunar deck is so reactive in so many ways. Like, Nobby is good once your opponent establishes a board, you know? The Dense Fogs in this are good into existing board states. If Caleb just refuses to commit and then casts Sluggle, like, what do you do about that?
Probably nothing. Set two and pass, I guess.
It's been nothing so far.
I think this is fun. We could stay here forever and then eventually.
And we're expended to draw.
Oh,
we're 4 turns in. We haven't played a single card.
No. How many more turns of this do you think we have? Should we start taking bets? Chat, let us know what you think. Let us know.
Okay, so we kind of have to take stock of the situation and try and figure out what they're building to. Ambro. We're casting Ambro here.
Okay. So that we can expend more.
If you are Brulock, you're trying to get to a position where you can like cast an Eddy and a Rock and a Hard Place, probably. You're trying to get to a position where you can cast a Comalis and an Artemis. You're trying to hopefully do a big turn where you make a big guy that can't be targeted in a way that matters. If you're Caleb, you know, you do have some must negates like this Elechick, but you know, at the end of the day, you're completely comfortable just sitting and finding more and more removal, more and more ways to stop your opponent from getting off the races, and eventually going over the top with some ridiculous combination of Sluggles and Quackles.
And by
we
God,
finally found a rabbit here.
Yeah, we've got the rabbit. You know, maybe like you were talking about, we have all of these different pieces that you want to see before you start doing anything. Maybe we've got those by now. At this point, our casters have their entire decks in hand. Okay.
Cue the rabbit.
Earthquaking the rabbit.
And again, you can take these 2-for-1s, the Spirit Differential, because the first guy who's coming down is Sluggle.
It's a Sluggle.
Spoiled fruit coming out.
Ooh.
All right. Although, if you're Caleb, you are certainly happy to see that come down now and not on a critical turn. Like, you have to imagine that there are a couple extra copies lurking in the deck that you will have to contend with, but that's one fewer than what you have right now.
Oh, and Toxiri still coming out. Okay, we thought maybe they would side out of that, but no. Brulock's sticking with Toxiri, who is going to be immediately, hit with the PTA.
If nothing else, I kind of like the Toxiri as a way to just thin the deck. Like, it's serving a similar function to like Ampup here.
So you're telling me this was the plan all along? 5 mulligans or 5 expend to draws was the plan from the beginning?
I mean, for sure. Like, we're just trying to find 2 spoiled fruit and win from that position. I just don't know if they did, or if that wins versus the cards that Caleb's drawn.
Caleb gonna be setting another. And
again, I mean, that's what Caleb wants to be doing. I think the thing here is Eddy no effect, just trying to put the screws on. I think the thing is that Caleb understands, as long as Brulock is playing his game, he's way ahead. I mean, his deck is built to win board states like this, where Brulock's isn't. If Brulock's going wide, if he's making a big, tall guy that can't be targeted, then we have a problem. He isn't yet.
That's true. This is a very comfortable spot for Caleb to be in. Brulock has 3 set, and the Eddy on Eddy violence is about to return. We see some.
He's really thinking about it.
Yeah. And
it is going to be Gorgons.
Gorgons. Okay.
This is kind of a rough. Gorgons obviously puts him down to 9. And the upside is you get to crash your Eddy into their Eddy, which is really not where you want to be.
Unless we see a Boombat ascend again. That is always a possibility.
Oh, Cryoblast, you're crazy.
Oh,
Boombat ascend actually pretty bad into this board specifically.
Yeah.
Just because we know that there is a dense fog in the back row. Probably the best part of Heel Stall is its pilots do play this fast just because you really don't want to get into a position where, like, this is an Ambro, yeah. You theoretically could enter a time scenario. Like, you will enter a time scenario, like, probably every match. But getting yourself into a time scenario gives your opponent the opportunity to turn Gorgons that usually would just be the difference between 2 and 3 into critical game-winning plays. And so you have to be playing fast. You have to be playing constantly. You can't really be giving your opponent a chance to breathe. Here, taking Brulock down to 6 to Caleb's 9. And we've got to turn the corner, buddy.
Yeah, Brulock's got to get some
Dense Fog.
motion.
Oh my, are we seeing it? That's 2 critters on board.
Dense Fog?
First ever recorded Necrolith? Boom!
There you go. You've wanted this all day. I'm so happy for you, honestly.
I'm so thrilled that I got to see this. Necrolith, I imagine, here is going to target the Edward, try and get over the rabbit.
We did get to see the Dense Fog animation, which I haven't seen before. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, kind of covered up the Necrolith, I'm not going to lie.
It ruined your moment a little bit.
No, it's like it appeared from the mist. How about that?
Ooh, as if
But this is what I'm talking about. Now Brulock does get to kind of turn the corner. A 2-drop is hard for Caleb to interact with. We have to shield here. Oh my god, is that an Argo?
What? Okay, so we're going to be grabbing an artifact of some kind.
Into Harmonia so they crash?
Yeah.
Oh, no!
This is the most blinged out rabbit that there has ever been. Are you kidding me?
But again, you can take these terrible spirit differentials, these terrible card advantage differentials, because you are going to pump it back up. What's the only deck that can afford to pay 4? What'd I say? Slam the Sluggle, baby.
All that. Here comes
back to 5.
History. And after what seemed like the turn, Brulock is once again on the back foot here.
Oh no. Caleb getting in, putting him to 2. Brulock. Oh, so Brulock has to be sitting on at least an Ambrosia. He's got like 19 cards in hand.
Oh, for sure. Unless it's just...
All right, leading here is Spectrus. That's a really threatening card.
That is.
Oh, Gorgon's Gaze here. If we have a removal spell for the Spectrus, we might just randomly win the game.
This has been a really fun game. I'm glad that we are seeing more of this, especially after all of those expend to draws. By gosh, we better have seen something.
Boom Bat coming down.
Here he comes.
Do you have the Dense Fog? Nope. Get in there.
Amazing. Oh my god. And I think that is our game.
Oh wow, what an unbelievable game.